let's tell people a little bit about like who is Andy Frecka? Just in 30 seconds. Who are you?
So, I guess, the main thing is, if we were saying Russian, оказываю посредническую услугу, связанную с недвижимым имуществом. In English, I do real estate. So I broker real estate deals. It started off mainly for expats in Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've been known for mainly over the years. Now we actually have a lot of Russian clients.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more than half of our clients are Russian. They like what we're doing. So that's one thing I do. Then I guess what I really like to do is find kind of some of Russia's hidden treasures and offer them to the world.
So you do some traveling?
Yeah. So it could be just like anything. And I love just telling the world about these cool things that are in Russia. Like we have like the best hackers. We get to choose the next president of the United States. No. So I actually, I'm a published author, right? I wrote a book. I wrote a book in Russian. It's called Matryoshka, как вести бизнес с иностранцами, how to do business with foreigners.
Okay. I saw that. Okay,
yeah.
I thought you were promoting that for somebody, but you wrote that.
I wrote that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's...
When was it? When did you
it
publish
was like maybe a year and a half ago, something like this.
Okay.
But it was...
How's the fame? Is it going to your head?
Yeah. It's... I wish.
Do you get...
I wish I was at that point.
People pull you off the street?
Yeah.
Andrew!
Yeah, so yeah. So that's another thing. I do a blog in English. It's called Planet Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have a Russian video blog, a YouTube channel. It's called The Amerikanets.
It's good that you said the, because I actually...
The Amerikanets.
I typed in Amerikanets and I got something else.
Yeah. So
you find the little matroshka.
The Amerikanets is where we're at. We've had a little hiatus over the winter, but we're about to get back at it in the beginning of March. So basically just go around Russia with my Russian friend and argue about what we're looking at. That's kind of what we do. So, but I like to go to cities that aren't like really the most tourist cities, like Cherepovets. Have you been?
Right.
Have you been to Cherepovets?
I've never been to Cherepovets.
That's really surprising. You should really try. You should try to go to.
I haven't been to Matishi, but I've heard I should plan a visit.
Yeah. So Matishi and Cherepovets have a lot in common. But no. So I enjoy going to these kind of places. Kind of the kind of place that probably. And that channel is all in Russian.
Yeah.
That's totally a Russian channel.
Do you do it like Aroy Areshki? Like, do you do it like one guy, like one time you're going to do it for like 1,000 rubles?
Well, we're talking about that because that's kind of like what everyone compares us to. It's kind of more, I'm super positive just in general.
Yeah.
And so everything I see is like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Like you cannot get me down about this. And then I have this Russian with me, and of course he's Russian, so he's negative about everything.
I shouldn't say absolutely. There are positive people here in this country.
Yeah, no. So I'm of course joking, because I know Russians cannot take jokes, so that's why. It's,
Did you get it?
Valeri, right?
They're not laughing.
Valeri's sitting over here. He's
Valeri's
like
our audio
cringing.
guy.
No. Of course, I love the Russian people. I wouldn't have been here so long. So that's the other thing about me. I've been here now for 21 years, living here in Russia. 21 years.
So in 30 seconds, after 7 minutes, we've uncovered, we've pulled the layers back, the onion that is Andy Frecka.
Yeah.
That's
medical tourism. That's another thing I do.
We're gonna get into that.
That's the other thing.
Book tab that.
I also a trucking company, so we could talk about that.
What don't you do?
Well, let's start off with that.
You use the trucking company to deliver.
English.
You don't teach
I do not teach English. I do not help people with their residency
You
permits.
and the 9 other people that are expats here in this country. The other 30,000. I teach English. We've got people from all parts of all over the world. I won't pick on any particular country, but it's amazing when you go and look and see who says they teach English, and I find it really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But let's jump in the DeLorean. Let's go back.
Yep.
I want you to tell this story because it's your story.
Yeah.
So go back however far you need to and set us up.
Mhm. Okay, so how I
didn't
ended
start
up
with-
in Russia. How I ended up in Russia. I ended
Yeah.
up in Russia the first time in 1995. So there's, it's funny. You like look at foreigners who live in Russia, expats, whatever you want to call them. There's like these different tribes.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the rich people, the diplomats,
These are expats. These are people that
the oil executives.
Sure.
Then there's like the wild mob of English teachers, who normally come as singles who are looking to make some money, have a little
Right.
adventure. I think that's probably more of that area than anything else.
Yeah, if you had to do like bubble
Right.
graph, right?
Yeah. They would be the biggest. Then there's this other bubble. It's missionaries, people who come for religious reasons.
You're talking about like the people that like try to talk about their religion.
Yeah, their faith. And so I came in that bubble, I
Okay.
guess you could say. So
Did you come alone?
So I was with a group that were like, so I came for like two months initially, that first trip. And we were doing like, going around to orphanages, things like this. And I look back on it and I mean, that's when I fell in love with Russia. And this is the city of Perm. This is 1995.
Mhm.
Like it was like minus 40 outside. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
And wait a minute. I want to set up the contrast here. So you're in Perm, minus 40 degrees Celsius. Where are you originally from? Where would you call like?
I grew up in the state that has more presidents than any other state.
I would say you're pushing my history. Is it Ohio?
Yes, it is Ohio.
It is.
Yeah.
Ohio.
We have great presidents like Garfield, Taft, Rutherford B. Hayes. Really, history makers in our,
Where was
McKinley?
I'm a terrible American.
People you've
I'm
never heard
terrible.
of. Presidents. The most obscure presidents are all from Ohio.
I don't know, but where was guy, the tall guy with the black hat, Abraham Lincoln?
Oh well, Illinois and Indiana both kind of like
yeah.
claim him. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
like
right next to each other.
corn country.
I
Yeah,
don't know what they do.
yeah.
there.
So I grew up in Ohio.
In Ohio.
And
Did you grow up on a farm?
No,
because the
no.
plaid shirt says you do.
Right. Yeah, I wore my farmer shirt today. Just I'm the American, so I wore my American farming shirt. No, I come from a dynasty of plumbers. So, no, get this. Two of my brothers are plumbers. My dad's a plumber. Both of my grandfathers are plumbers. My great-grandfather started the plumbing union in that area of Ohio. And my great-great-grandfather was also a plumber. And I was like, man, I don't want to become a plumber. So I like ran away to Siberia.
I can't. I was gonna say something about clean pipes, but I just
Yeah. Yeah. So
So you didn't want to become a plumber, so you left the country.
Yeah,
That was the only choice.
there were no other options other than to go to Russia.
College wasn't a choice. California, New York. I mean, no. If you're gonna go big,
Yeah.
go to Russia.
Right. So,
now-
anyway, 95, I came for the first time. Then I moved to the city of Perm in 1999. And then I lived in Perm for 11 years.
So you were in Perm in 95. How long were you there for?
A couple months.
Just a couple months. And then you came back in 99.
Yeah.
And what made you come back? Under what pretenses did you come back?
It was the same. It was
Okay.
also religious matters, visas, all this kind of thing. And, I think we were doing some cool things. We were, for example, doing some humanitarian aid.
Mhm.
We were helping out some orphanages, things like this. But I think, 20 some years in, I think that situation was very applicable to that point of history and to that situation.
Sure. Yeah.
So I look at it now and I'm like, Russia's moved beyond that. We aren't in the 90s anymore. You know, Russia has all the money, you know, it needs. There's a lot of really intelligent people. The orphanage situation is actually very different now. I'm afraid to say too much because people probably have strong opinions about that, but I would say it's improved. You know, that's just one example.
Sure.
So, you know, that was an experience I'm very grateful for. But I think also, if I can take a jab at at a lot of people who are doing missions now, is they're living in the 90s, and they need to probably think about their strategy and what they're doing.
They need a pivot.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, so people I respect greatly, you know, come with great hearts. They want to do some good things, but Russia's changed in the past 20 years.
So the lens is a little dirty.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of my story. When we moved to Moscow, now 11 years ago, that's when I started doing business. Okay.
So you moved to Perm kind of pretty much for good in 99.
To Russia, yeah. 99.
And you
Perm.
Stayed there
11 years.
For 11 years.
Now, does that work out with the numbers? No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
so 10 years in Moscow, 11 years in, 21 years
so
in Russia.
99 to 2009, and then 2009 you make the switch and come
2010, to get right in the very beginning,
Okay.
So
you came in the wintertime?
Yeah.
Great time to move.
I saw, Facebook memories. It was like right at the beginning of February, rented an apartment in Moscow. So that's when that happened.
So why the move from Perm to Moscow?
It's a great question. I think I was part of, starting this Christian mission in Perm.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some people would say it was successful. Other people would say it's not, but it was working. And probably it got to a point where I felt that I was not interested in managing. I wanted to start something new. And when I looked at Moscow, I saw, man, there's like this crazy city.
Mm-hmm. Had you been to Moscow?
Well, I've been through Moscow a gazillion times. Okay. I mean, like everything goes through Moscow.
That's true.
Right. So
not just airplanes.
I actually counted at some point. It was like in those 10 years, I think I was in Moscow probably 100 times. Wow. That's something like that. At least the airport.
Yeah.
So yes. So I knew some things about Moscow, of course. But of course, passing through Moscow and living in Moscow are two different things.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that was kind of 2010.
So you make the move 2010. Yeah. Do you remember where you lived in Moscow?
Yeah. Schodninskaya. Do you know this metro?
Yeah, I know.
Purple line up in the northwest of the city. Yeah, northwest. Yeah. Yeah,
you're almost green zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good healthy air.
Yeah.
So how describe the apartment?
We got a 4-room apartment in a slightly above average building, but not like a super nice. So it was nice. It was 4 rooms. I have 4 kids. That's also something important about me.
I was getting there because you said 4 rooms, and I'm like, who are you with? Where you need 4 rooms? No,
I was with my 4 children.
It was my
wife.
Bibles.
Yeah. All my Bibles.
Just I needed the space.
Yeah. So that's where we lived.
So you have 4 kids. Where did they come into? Were they born in America? Were they born in Russia?
See, you got to understand, in Perm, it's like dark outside for 11 and a half months of the year.
Yeah.
It's like cold. There's not a whole lot going on. Not a whole lot of entertainment.
Yeah, there's nothing.
So we got 4 kids. It's really cold outside. Not much to do. So we got. I'm of course joking, but 3. So our first child, we went back to the States to have her. Mm-hmm. She's graduating from high school this year, which is crazy.
Yeah. You guys had a little thing about her going back.
Yeah. And then our 3 boys were born in Perm.
It's amazing. So
because my wife was like, she's like, why do we go to the States for like 3 months for a 1-day event? And I was like,
For the other 89 days, like
yeah. So we just
just a bonus that you.
had our 3 boys in Perm.
So you just got stayed and
Yeah.
you trusted the healthcare.
Well, Russia has really great healthcare if you know exactly who you're going to. No, it's more, in Russia, people go to specific doctors rather than going to a specific hospital,
Okay.
generally
Okay.
speaking. And so if you know exactly where you're going, it's kind of okay. But funny story, our first birth experience in Perm
Hmm.
is Charlie. He's now 16. So 16 years ago, driving across Perm to have a baby at this hospital, we made a deal with the hospital that we get our personal birthing room, and I'm going to be present.
That's another thing that's interesting. Historically, men are not
Yeah,
permitted. Not,
yeah.
not even like they
I
would show
I
up,
was
but-
going to be there, and I cut the umbilical cord for every one of my children. Like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my wife Rachel, she's like a big trooper when it comes to having babies. Like she never like screams. She's like totally serene. She's just like in the zone.
So zen.
Yeah, she's like hypnotized by just like I don't know what, but she's just like relaxed about the whole thing.
She's really
And
lucky.
yeah, and she has also important, if you're me, not to anyone else in the world, but if you're me, is she has babies very quickly. So
So as far as like you get it to the hospital,
no, if
she gets into her
if she's
room.
feeling like a little something in her side, you need to like get in that car, and you need to like go like right now. So anyway,
Got it.
we had this deal that I was going to be there in our personal room. Well, after we had Charlie, she was like, "Wasn't that great having our own room?" And you were there and everything. And
It was
I'm
like the Four Seasons. What are you talking about?
I'm like, there were like 5 other women having babies in that room. How did you not see that? And there was one like literally like 3 feet away from you. And that was pretty awkward for me. Like I walk in and I'm like, I'm the only dad. There's like women all over this room just having babies everywhere. And kind of felt like they were looking at me like help, and like that wasn't my place, to like help. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Run around and cut everyone's umbilical. Yeah, that was top 5 awkward situations in my life. Yeah.
It's gonna be okay.
Right. So anyway, that was a funny story. All the other ones we did actually have our own room, but that first one we were in this room with. I was like, Charlie, we should go back.
Out,
we should go back and find out these other kids. You were born in that room with them in that moment. Like have
You're
some
practically
moment with
family.
That's right.
Like in America, we have like I grew up in the South for 6 years in Louisiana, and I have and this plays into the stereotype, but I have cousins and uncles that aren't even related to
Louisiana.
me.
Why did I think you're from New Jersey?
No,
It's like
New Jersey,
it's the
man.
same thing.
I lived on Long Island.
You don't sound like you're from Louisiana.
No, I'm a New Yorker, yo.
All right.
But yeah, my mom is originally from New Orleans. My father's from Queens, New York.
Okay.
So the Yankee met the nice Southern belle,
Right.
and yeah, I lived there for 6 years, and I remember quite a lot actually. But the thing is, we have cousins and uncles that they're not even related, and so your son has extended family. He has no idea about.
They're just scattered all over, or they're all just living in Perm. I don't know. We could go find them.
They probably are. They might be plumbers.
Yeah.
At least the statistics.
It all comes together. Yeah.
An electrician, a plumber. They can build a house together.
Right.
And then your son will sell it.
Yeah. Right.
So now you okay, so you're happily married, you got 4 kids, you live in Moscow.
Yeah.
You've got this real estate business.
Yeah.
But you like to dabble in a couple other things.
Right.
And one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because I, reading your blogs are halfway between humorous. I should probably cut it in thirds. I'm a mathmatician here today.
Yeah.
And a little bit sad sometimes. But you talk about healthcare,
Right.
and so can you tell us your history, your involvement with the promotion of healthcare here in Russia?
Right. Yeah, probably healthcare isn't what Russia's known for the most. Right.
Yeah.
And probably there's just going to make a real safe statement right here. There's a lot of healthcare in Russia that probably I would not recommend to everyone in the world as being a good fit for them.
Hmm.
However, there is healthcare in Russia that's not available in other places in the world. So basically, what I do is try to connect the need of that healthcare from different countries with the healthcare that's available here. So,
How did that get started? Like, why did you jump into that?
well, it's funny. I wrote this book. If just like to mention, I wrote a book. Yeah, it's like I did an ice marathon across Lake Baikal, 42 kilometers, across Lake Baikal for the Travel Channel, and and it's like the only reason that you do that is so that later on you can be like, you're like at a party, you're like, I ran an ice marathon. I mean, like it serves no real purpose.
No,
But
it's a
I wrote a
story.
book. Yeah, it's something. I'm an author. No, sorry. So anyway, in the book, I think I wrote like literally 2 sentences about medical tourism into Russia.
Hmm.
Well, I was speaking at a businessman meeting in Vladivostok. It's like a year and a half ago, and I was talking about it, and this guy walks up to me after, and he's like, "Hey, like there's this new thing in Russia, and actually, it's like a government. It's going to be this government thing, and promotion of medical tourism in Russia, and I'm going to be a big part of that." And I've just been building relationship with the guy, and so that was one thing that happened. And then I realized the only way you can really monetize that is if you make a medical tourism agency. So we did that.
Right.
But basically, it's you take like a country. Actually, I won't name specific countries, but the Middle East. I'll name the United States, but countries in the Middle East who have incredible amounts of money.
Hmm.
But their medical technology is just non-existent
Hmm.
because it's not a big deal to fly to Germany to get an implant,
Sure.
a spinal implant, for example. It's not a big deal to fly to, Germany to get a knee replacement,
Yep.
right? So we're building relationships with the medical authorities in those countries so that they'll send those patients to Moscow, where in specific situations, the treatment is not inferior. I mean, we have actually some of not just Russia's top-rated surgeons, there's Europe's top-rated surgeons in those areas, like spinal surgery, here in Moscow. So, and the price is significantly less. So you can get a spinal implant, including the implant, here for. This is not an official commercial offer, but
This is your disclaimer.
yeah, but I want to say it's like under $15,000.
Say that again.
The spinal implant
Is under
$15,000. So like it's
for
under
less than a
million.
Camry.
Yeah, but no, and I'm counting the cost of the implant,
Yeah.
which is probably about half that. So this is way less than what you'll find in other places around the world, and we have one of the top surgeons in Europe. So that's one direction. Then there's a clinic in Perm, which is funny. I did not know them when I lived in Perm. I was speaking at a business forum in Izhevsk, and they were also speaking there, and I'd heard about them, and I ran into them. I listened to them speak, and I was like, I got to work with these guys. So they have a very unique way of treating, but it comes out of the Soviet times. The Soviet Union began to study this back in like 1983. Well, this professor in Perm was a part of that, and it kind of feels like everyone else forgot about this, but she kind of continued to keep it on. So she has 9 patents in this field of treatment. So what it is treating through the lymphatic system, which you don't really think about your lymphatic system. I never thought about it until I started working with this clinic. But it's you have lymph nodes. Your doctor like grabs your neck and sees are they swollen or not. Well, that's a system that goes all through your body, and it's basically how your body gets rid of waste in a way. And if that's broken, you end up with a lot of autoimmune disorders that can lead to cancer and a lot of other horrible things. So this clinic also is very unique in that their diagnostics are insanely thorough, and their top doctors will only see 2 patients a day because the rest of the time they're studying their diagnostics and working through a treatment plan.
So they're actually doing their job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we, well, I mean, compare that to any other system in the world where it's 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, wham bam.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all symptom relief.
Yeah,
And,
put the
and so,
Band-Aid on, right?
Yeah. And so what they're doing is they're going back and finding out what the problem is. So they had, I'll tell you the story of my dad. My dad went there. He has chronic leukemia. He's 78 years old. His doctors in America said chronic leukemia, so your white blood cell count starts to go berserk and then you die. Oh, but it's kind of slow moving. His doctor said your white blood cell count is 25,000. It can stay the same, move, but it's not going to go down at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely impossible. He went to Perm because they said we can treat this. And they spent a long time looking, and they basically found out what was behind, what was causing this leukemia, and treated it. And the last time he went in, which was a month and a half after he was treated in Perm, maybe 2 months. There's no reason to exaggerate that, but it was his white blood count had gone down to 21,000. So it's doing what the oncologists in America said is completely impossible. They're treating arthritis through the lymphatic system. I personally have seen this where a woman could not zip up her coat. Her arthritis was so bad, rheumatoid arthritis. And after 2 days of treatment, the swelling was completely gone. The pain was gone. And she was able to tie her shoes, zip up her coat, things she hadn't been able to do in many years. It's really kind of a thing where it's so amazing that I have to be careful not to talk about everything because people start to be like, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So that, they're doing things with obesity. They're doing things with, Alzheimer's. That's of course a big one, multiple sclerosis. You know, they're removing plaque from arteries through lymphatics injections.
Wow.
So you don't need to go in for a heart stent, you know,
exactly.
things like this, you know, so these are really, really cool things, that they're doing, and it's unique to Russia. This isn't available in the United States. We're working on getting it into the United States. We're working on setting up a clinic in Moscow. That's long-term projects. Right now, you can just get a plane ticket and fly to Perm, and they recently had, just to give you an idea how they work, they recently had an obesity patient. They went through everything. This guy had been working out 3 hours a day. He'd been not eating for days at a time, and he could not get his weight down. Weighed 355 pounds. And so they go deep into this thing. And when I say deep, they did diagnostics for 5 days straight, morning to evening. MRI, CT scan, blood test, is it bacterial fungal test of the inside of your nostrils, just like anything you can possibly imagine they test. And when they pulled that all together, the professor sat from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. working out a treatment plan.
It's a lot of coffee.
And I talked to the guy just yesterday. In 3 weeks, his weight has gone down 30 pounds, and he's working out way less than he ever has in the past, and he's eating more. So it's really, really fascinating. It's really cool to be a part of, and because it's so unique. And, you know, there's like all this stuff out there about how, you know, well, if nothing else, if you watch a Hollywood movie, the bad people are either Arabs or Russians.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
But there are some really cool things happening here. So it's really cool to be a part of, like, sharing that with the world, you know. And I think
it's not all bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes. So that's,
I have to apologize. I'm listening to the story, and I kind of drifted off because it got a little emotional for me because my uncle died of leukemia.
oh, okay.
And he battled with it for over 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, it's just too late. I mean,
Right,
he
right.
was stage 4
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this could have, if he had tackled it 10 years ago, might be a different story.
Right. No, exactly. I mean,
So,
I'll tell you also, my mom passed away now 3 years ago. And there were some clear things that were happening with her health, but there were a lot of things we never understood.
mm-hmm.
And I look at that as well. And I'm like, if we could have only sent her, if I'd only known about that then,
Yeah.
you know, where there's not a situation where the doctor's just doing symptom relief, you know, where they'll go deeper.
That's the worst. They don't even go to the root.
Right, right.
You know, it's what.
Well,
can
I
we
mean,
do
it's not the
now?
doctor's fault; it's the system's fault. You know, so it would be a fantastic thing if big pharmacy wasn't in charge of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like there's a gag order on doctors to even mention that there are possibilities
Right.
elsewhere, or maybe they don't even know. Maybe just not informed. But that is really, really amazing, and I do not want to go down that rabbit hole of getting depressed in the middle of this show. You know, this is it. It's really nice.
Do you want to talk about Kamchatka?
The crab?
Kamchatka, no, the part of Russia. We're setting up tourism there.
Are you're going to the north?
No, we're about to.
We have a huge.
We're about to send 8 modular houses to Kamchatka from St. Petersburg.
Where is Kamchatka?
You've never played the game of Risk?
No.
Clearly,
Where is?
it's the
we have a huge
peninsula.
map.
See on the far right, this.
I see Irkutsk,
no, go farther right. It's way past. Irkutsk.
Magadan,
Keep going.
Kamchatka. Okay,
yeah,
so it's just like this peninsula over.
You don't know about Kamchatka?
No, I know
You're going to
that.
be our first tourist at our new tourism base we're making out there.
How long does it take to get there?
It's a 8.5 hour flight.
8.5. Oh, so it's like
Domestic
New
flight. I
York.
always get there 2 hours early because it feels like it should be international. And you're like, this country is the biggest country in the world.
You know,
It has 300 volcanoes. 30 of them are active.
In
It has-
Kamchatka
Yeah,
alone.
yeah. Yeah, it has. It's really amazing. You can go dog sledding. You can go in a thermal. It'll be like -30 outside, and you go in a thermal swimming pool. You know, the thermal bath.
Sure. That's
under
like 90
under the
degrees.
sky, and your hair's like all ice, but it's hot and it's supposedly good for you. You can
Well, if people are living. I mean,
you can go bear hunting, fishing, float trips. So we're just about to send 8 houses from a factory in St. Petersburg to Kamchatka
and so the biggest question is why?
for tourists.
So
Yeah,
it's
like it'll be like a tourism kind of
like
camp
hotel?
thing. Yeah.
kind of stay at a.
Yeah. For hunters, fishers, or for people who disapprove of hunting and fishing, they can also go and do go to the Valley of Geysers.
I shot my first gun last year, actually, like ever.
Are you really from Louisiana?
I kid you not, man. My father's had guns. My brother has several guns. My sister has a gun. But
Are you really an American?
well, I shot a gun now, so I can say I am. You know, my wife even shot the gun once. She got scared afterwards, but she. I mean, we went. My family lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
And so things are a little loose and crazy down there. But we went to a range, and it was like $100 for us to get the ammo, to get the release forms and everything. And you had to sit down and watch your video, like don't point the gun at someone. So we went out and we shot some 9mm. I think my brother brought his sniper gun, but anyway, so it was really interesting. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
I don't have a problem with shooting animals as long as we use it, or we at least give it to somebody who's going to,
As long as it's not a fatal shot.
like a fish, like you throw it back, like it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
Like
No, that's amazing fishing there. Caviar, it's caviar land.
Kamchatka. Okay, so caviar is Kamchatka. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so-
yeah. Can you get the black stuff? I've tried the red. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not,
I've never had black caviar.
I'm not one of those expats where I'm diplomat where I get to try black caviar on a weekly basis. I've never tried it. I hear that's the life. I have yet to get to Pushkin Cafe, where I heard You can have like some really nice blini with black caviar.
Yeah.
I don't know the price. I don't think they have prices.
You always
on
want to
it.
check that it's real black caviar too.
Say it again.
Oh, not Pushkin. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Pushkin Cafe.
Yeah.
No, it's not just
that would
there.
be real black caviar, but most of what you see in your local store is synthetic. I mean, it says that right on the thing.
Okay, so you got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
Expats.
I mean, like if you get a real cheap black caviar, it's not real.
If you go over
It
to
is an
Goom
imposter.
and you go over to
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Goom in that place
yeah.
on the first. That's probably real.
they'll sell the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice. That's a
If
nice.
you're into
look.
that kind of thing.
What is it called? What is that store? It's
It's called the store on the first floor of the Goom.
right. Yeah, that's it. That's. You're right. I love their ice cream. You eat ice cream in the wintertime. Like,
Yeah, when they went up to 100 rubles a cone,
Dude,
I was like, no. No.
that was your limit.
Yeah, I was like, no, 50 rubles. I'm there like every time.
I know.
I'll drive across Moscow for a 50 ruble ice cream cone, but 100 rubles, even if I'm standing right there, no,
No,
not going to happen.
that's the line.
Also, I have a lot of questions for whoever sets up that ice cream stand. Why don't they take cards?
They still take cash. Yeah, no cards. Yeah, 100 rubles.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
What kind of charity?
Yeah, right. Kind of charity. What kind of
Goes to the
laundromat?
kids. Goes to the kids. Andy, I think we've gotten to know each other quite a bit
Yep.
right now, and I told you that there would be some surprises.
Okay.
So this is the part of the show where I like to call
Where things get real.
It's like the real world where it was really fake. These are called blitz questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a choice between one or the other, and you need to choose.
Okay. Yes.
All right. So let's stop beating around the bush and let's get to it. Here we go. Big or small? Oh, let me start.
That was the question.
Actually, that was a setup. That was a setup to see.
Big.
Home size, big or small?
Small.
House or apartment?
House.
In the city or out in the country?
Country.
Ocean or mountains?
Both.
Kelly's got you
I
covered.
want an ocean going up to a mountain.
Going up to a mountain.
Yeah, like,
Forget about gravity, but we got one going up to the
well, I'm
mountain.
thinking of what Tenerife, you have,
Tenerife, yeah.
So you have both there.
That's true.
You don't have to do both there.
No, but that's
You can do both. I mean,
can
you
have
can do both is what I'm saying, yeah.
Theater or movie theater?
Neither.
Home, Netflix.
No, actually, I went to a drama theater in Mitishi. And I
In Mitishi.
Yeah.
Here's this city.
And I want to tell you, it was amazing. It was like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, guys. That's
yeah.
your
Go to the
next tip.
Mitishi Drama Theater. I did get the impression that they'd done that drama like 1,000 times before. It was like they were kind of just like looking at their watches, but it was still that kind of even made it greater.
And if you take elektrichka,
Yes, the Elektrichka to
That's
the
living right
Stanция Taninskaya, and it's only about a
right.
10-minute walk from there, and you're there. Boom, heart of Mitishi.
Heart of Mitishi, living large. Top 3 places you'd live in Moscow.
Top 3 places I would live. So we're saying within the MCOD, not New Moscow.
Yeah. No.
We're not doing any of
no,
this.
no, just
okay.
inside MCOD.
Oh man, that's good. That's a good question. Top 3 places I would live in Moscow. Since I work in real estate, that it makes it more difficult.
A little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Everyone loves Patriarch Ponds.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that.
Mhm.
And there's reasons to love it. So,
Absolutely.
like, I'm gonna say that Patriarch Ponds just to get that one off the table. But like an area that I really like and everyone thinks is kind of like an armpit is Schodinskaya. Like Schodinskaya, like you can get a really great deal on an apartment. For some reason, it's like not really considered to be awesome. But you have a park right there. You have everything you need. You have this right, on the canal.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
and you can get a nice apartment unless you have to go all the way across the other side of town. I think that's kind of a cool area. I like to live anywhere next to a park, so you could take a place like for example, I would choose like Shabelovskaya personally, metro,
Mm-hmm.
over Park Kulturi metro. So Park
Okay.
Kulturi is considered to be cooler, whatever. But there's a lot of noise,
There is.
a lot of movement, and you're actually farther from Gorky Park
Yeah, you got to
than
take
if you
the
go on
bridge.
the other side of Shabelovskaya, which is going to be cheaper,
Yep.
and you just go right over and you're right there. And unless you have some apartment with an awesome view of the river on Park Kulturi, but there are actually not very many of those. So there's that.
And you see, that's my problem too, because I have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the biggest things is I need to have a park.
Yeah. I think to me that's the biggest thing. A place you can just get out of your apartment
Yep.
and go for a walk.
And get out of Moscow in your mind, right? To actually go into a park where you're
right. Yeah.
away from it all,
Yeah.
but you're still there. Let's keep it going. Eating out or cooking at home?
My wife cooking at home.
Given the current market, rent or buy?
Yeah. So I think it really depends on your situation, but I'll tell you what I'm seeing right now, and I think this is where it's at. So it's all about calculating money. A lot of expats can't even buy a place because of their contract situation. But if you're going to be here any period of time, it really does make sense to invest in an apartment. Now, what I'm seeing is it's a lot of the English teacher crowd. I just gave a deed to 2 school teachers yesterday.
Mm.
And it's for the lower end of the market.
Okay.
So it's up to 10 million rubles
Right.
for an apartment, right? That's I think where it's really at. And I think everyone's question is, well, what if the world falls to pieces and there's World War III and the ruble becomes 300,000 rubles to the dollar and I'll lose all my money and this.
Sure.
But here's the thing. Let's say you lose half the amount. Usually, rule of thumb is you're paying 10% of the value of that apartment per year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live in your own place for 5 years and it loses half of its value, you actually didn't lose anything, except for you lost the constant headache of wondering if your landlord's going to pop some rate on you or, raise the rate or something like that.
Yeah, because if you want to worry about stuff, let your brain roam.
Right.
You're going to worry about something.
Coronavirus is coming, it's the end of the world.
I just had an order from 3M. It's coming tomorrow. So
yeah, right. So you get what I'm saying. So and actually the higher end of the market, when you get into the apartments that are 300,000 rubles a month plus,
sure,
they're not getting 10% back a year.
No,
they're getting way less.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to people. So if you're on that higher end, it actually doesn't make sense to buy a place. And probably you're not even thinking of that. You're in a different place altogether.
Yep.
But if you're in the teacher crowd and you're going to be here another 5 years, I think, look at these apartments that are maybe up to 10 million rubles, depending on how much you're spending on rent.
Sure.
And I guess a little plug is if you're receiving pay officially in Russia,
mm-hmm.
and you have a track record with that,
mm-hmm.
You can get a mortgage. You don't have to have the full amount.
So for our listeners, what do you say is a track record? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Is it, what's a rule of thumb there?
Well, the more the better, of course. But I would say at least a year, showing that you're receiving income in Russia. They do not care about your income outside of Russia if you have any or had any. Like there's zero concern about this.
And aside from the blitz questions, we're almost through them.
Yeah.
But this is a big topic.
Yeah.
So, do they care about your visa status?
Yes, but that's secondary. They care more about your contract with your employer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a contract, or a lot of people have been writing me and they actually have really great income, but it's not official.
Yeah.
Sure. Then it's sorry, and the interest rates are way better than anyone out there thinks.
And that's another stopper. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
another stopper for people, I mean, including myself. I
Yeah, yeah.
speak personally.
We're looking at 9% annual.
Yeah.
It's not 25, and
Well, I've heard 12. I mean, I've seen it as high as 17.
yeah,
But I mean, coming from America, you're looking at 2%. You go, I'm never going to buy an apartment because I refuse to pay that APR.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And it's
Ruble
stop,
based.
Steve. You have to get your mind out of American mentality. You're not living in America, so forget the fact that you're never going to pay 2%. So forget about it.
Right. Yeah.
But the upside is that you're here, you are getting rubles, they will give you a mortgage.
Right.
And in the last, I'd say minimum 7 to 8 years that I've been here, prices have done nothing but go up.
Right. And if I can also talk about opportunity, the other really incredible thing on the market is investing in apartments and buildings that are being built, that are still under construction. And that actually is also, people have heard all the horror stories of, the guy
pay the money, the guy runs off.
the guy runs off, and
Sure.
this building is, I have a client right now, we're getting his mortgage. He's actually a teacher, another school teacher. He's investing in a building just like that. He's very concerned about that. And so I kind of looked around, and I could not find a single apartment building in Moscow that's frozen right now. And there are some outside the city. A lot of those are like weird projects that.
No, when you say frozen, do you mean that have stopped building?
Yeah, they stopped building.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what they call it. They're called frozen projects. So I could not find a single one in Moscow, because what you'll see is, in the small event that were to happen now, because there's a lot more control on that. There's escrow accounts where your money is held, things like this.
So they can't use your money to build.
Well, let me say this. Right. Yes and no. So actually, this specific one, and this is why this guy's kind of concerned, is that changed last July. The building was started before that, so they do have access to his money. But if the project was started after, I think it was last July or June, doesn't matter.
But
then,
after a certain period.
then your money's held in an escrow account, and they don't have access to it until until basically they hand you the keys.
Right.
So there's it's a different world than it was a few years ago. And, if you know what the building companies are, things like this, it's really great. I also, I'll just advertise myself unashamedly. But if you go to the building company on your own, or if you call me and I take you to the building company, it's exactly the same price. Like, they will not change it 1 ruble. And the building company does pay me a commission. So if you do call me, you get English language service basically for free. So that's what we're offering with those buildings. And we'll show you not just that building, we'll show you other buildings that probably you didn't know about, that might fit your investment or location or budget goals better. And you don't pay us anything, and it's exactly the same amount. People kind of think if they go on their own, they're going to get a better deal. That's not how it works. The building companies are very, very strict about keeping the price exactly the same for everyone. So,
well, maybe that's to not only their advantage, but the buyer's advantage as well. Maybe it plays on both.
Well, it's they like, even I'll tell you this: there's these buildings downtown that are 800,000 rubles a square meter.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, well, the commission on those are pretty good. What if we offer like a cash back as part of our commission to the person buying? Now, if we did that, they would just, as it turns out, they would slit our throats basically, because we'd be knocking down their price.
Right.
So it's
Right.
price control on
Price
part
control.
of the builder. So that's the way it works.
Well, it sounds
So
like
we do
things
not
are-
do that.
You don't officially copyright 2020. You heard it here first. Where's a Russian town you had the weirdest experience?
Weirdest experience?
Weirdest, most fun, just
Most fun.
strange, just
Something. Man, lots of weird experiences in 21 years.
All right, we're gonna have to do part 2.
Yeah. Man, I'm drawing a total blank. It's just weird. So, like, I'll tell you, like, the most like things that are funny to me. Like, I've been in tons of bizarre situations, of course, in 21 years. But, like, this is just what came to mind. like 15 years ago, I go into a Sportmaster in Perm, the store
I know,
Sportmaster.
yeah.
And I'm
Sports
with
stuff.
my wife and we're talking to each other in English. And this guy comes, the Russian customer service whatever he is, walks up and he's like, he wanted to practice his English. He's like, my name is Igor. I'm like, oh, okay, you want to practice your English? And he's like, and in English, no, my name is Igor. Igor in English, that's Jack. Like that's what I love. This is the kind of thing I love. Like, just like, okay.
He's telling you what his name translates to in English.
Yeah, it's Jack. I was like,
good to know. So do I call you Igor? Like we're in Russia. How does this work?
I mean, like I can understand. I don't know, like Valery or Vladimir. Like I have a friend named Vladimir, and he would always say it's Walter. Like that's still a bit of a stretch, but I can see that there's some similar letters in both, right? Yeah. Sort of, right? Yeah. But Igor and Jack, I didn't see that one.
Well, we've got Richard and Dick.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. So I do these dumb videos like trolling Russian people because they're my friends. And so I was like, how is it that Yevdokia becomes Dusia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, tell us, how does Margaret become Peggy? I was like, yeah, I guess you're right.
You're right. That's a good one, Margaret.
Okay,
and Peggy.
You guys win. I'll go and make a different video.
And he says to himself, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Just doesn't. All right. So just for shits and giggles, in 3 words or less, I'm going to give you a word. It's something.
I'm not very good at blitz round.
Something
we're like this, like really like
something about Russian stuff. Just in 3 words or less. Just tell me what comes to your mind. We'll just try it. If it doesn't, we'll cut it out.
All right. So what? 3 words.
3 words or less.
Okay.
Blini.
3 words. Thin Russian pancakes.
Vodka.
Classic Russian beverage.
Bears.
On Moscow streets.
Caviar.
Symbol of success.
Pilmeni.
My go-to.
Mine too. Moscow traffic.
Yellow plate Yandex.
On the other side, Metro.
Loud.
Car sharing.
No.
The Golden Road.
Meh.
Skodinskaya is better.
Well, it's weird. Like, there's like the rich Russians and the rich expats.
Yeah. And
they have their own like areas that they love.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get real here for a minute. What is the difference between Chisty Prudi and Patriarch Ponds?
It's a different line on Metro.
I mean,
there's nothing.
Well, I mean, there's some difference. There's some difference.
Okay, you have the ponds,
right?
I mean, it's a little more expensive,
right? It's more expensive. That's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, okay, Saxon and Power. I mean, I love the area. I really do. But it's way out of my price range, and it's like dreamland. And it's still Moscow.
We got a 3-room flat with a view of the pond, 110,000 rubles
a month.
Yes.
With a view of the pond.
Yeah.
Is it like one of those basement slash first floor thing?
This is like over a year ago, and I'll tell you, like everyone's going to call me like, expect this now. Like that one's gone. Like forget about
absolutely.
it. But
it was gone. But 2 seconds after.
Right. And I mean, and that's the thing is sometimes we put up a listing and it's gone in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a few in the past few weeks. They were literally gone in under 15 minutes. So
you sell out faster than Metallica.
I need to put that out somewhere. That I like that. No, but anyway, yeah, it's not exactly maybe as expensive as some people think.
That's great.
It depends on the type of building and the interior more than the location.
They're going on, on the buying price. They're, and it's I mean, I've looked on Sion. By the way, I'm also a real estate expert.
I know Sion.
If
I even do Avito sometimes.
I've sold on Avito.
Yeah, no,
personally
Avito's
sold
good
on
for
Avito.
everything, but don't do real estate on Avito.
No,
Avito's-
no.
Unless you're outside Moscow.
No, yeah, it's not a good no.
Not a
Just
good
gonna-
idea.
Yeah, just go the other way. Andy, I just want to acknowledge you for coming on today. I
That's
really,
a cool
really,
thing you're doing. I acknowledge you for doing this. Podcasts are the thing. We need an expat podcast. You're killing it from the very first one.
Well, that
Awesome
was the key.
guests, interesting conversation. You're killing it.
We've got chai, coffee,
Yeah.
consume. Look, this is something where I'm just the background. I want more people to realize the possibilities. It sounds cliche, that you have here in this country. And this country isn't just Moscow. And when we have guests like you that have traveled quite extensively to places unknown, you are the Bourdain of Russia, minus the food aspect. But I mean, and there's many
show.
more people like you, and well, the show and the money and you're alive. Sorry.
Wow.
Too soon. I love Anthony Bourdain immensely. He brought so much to his show.
Absolutely.
But this is about you guys. This is about your stories. This is about what you've experienced, and I want people to know that they're not stuck. Like, there's always a choice. If you don't want to be a plumber, you can leave your country.
Or if you don't want to live in Moscow, you can always be a plumber.
And live in Perm.
Yeah.
There's always Perm. Yeah, but yeah, I just want to acknowledge you, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find you? Where can they get in touch with you?
I'm on the internet.
You're on
Probably you could just, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Kontakte. I'm pretty much everywhere. You can contact me on the ExpatFlat website.
And that's expat.flat.ru.
RU. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay.
anyway, I'm happy to chat. Except for I will not help Russians learn English. I will not help you get your residency permit. I refuse to answer questions about that. Just look it up on Google or hire someone. Sorry.
Just see the show notes.
Yeah.
We'll have more information.
Yeah.
Against Andy's will.
Yeah. No, you can put my Facebook on the show notes.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you, Andy. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming in, and it's time for us to get up. And
Yeah,
get out.
awesome. I got to run too. So yeah, thank you, and we'll see you.
Great. Thanks a lot.